All right, welcome to Courtside Talk. It's your host, Matt Salib, and we got a special co-host, Storm Fitness own Peter Atwa in the building. What's up?
What's up, gang? It's your boy Peter Atwa, aka Fat to Fit, bro.
Hey,
You
skinny
know what it
gang.
is. You know what it is. Mr. Feast to Mr. Beast. Okay, we back here doing these power rankings, talking about
NBA
these
Power
squads.
Rankings, Week
Yes,
9.
sir.
You ready,
Yes,
bro?
sir.
It's
What do
your
you know
first
about
Power
power
Rankings,
rankings,
bro.
bro? You at the top of your power rankings, so you know all about them.
Yo, let's get to it. Number 15, the Dallas Mavericks. I can't believe they have a record of 13-13 with Luka Doncic playing out of his mind. Seems like, the supporting cast is just not helping him out. And that's kind of why they're in the middle of the pack. What do you think of this team?
Bro, they call him Luka Doncic. Why? Because he stays smoking the competition, bro. This guy
Jeez.
cannot miss. Okay, he's elite. He does everything for this team, and the support is garbage, brother. I watch these guys try to do anything. I can't lie. I love watching these guys play. Love watching the Mavericks play. Why? Because Luka is truly him. Okay, he's at the top every week of the MVP ladder race for good reason. Because when he sits, this team is doggy doo doo. Okay, the ball movement is horrendous. There's not a lot of on ball guys other than Spencer Dinwiddie, and losing James, not James, losing their point guard, losing their point guard. No,
Brunson.
Jalen Brunson losing their point guard over the offseason really is really showing face, because when Luka sits, it's bad. It's bad to watch. It's bad to look at.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This team, I think it's more on the supporting cast. Like Finney Smith is nowhere to be seen, and he plays a lot of minutes. Tim Hardaway Jr. is hot and cold. So
They
we'll
they
see.
just they just paid the dude with the they just paid the sideshow Bob looking dude lots of money. Bullock, and he's not doing anything for them. Reggie Bullock, and he's sitting sideline, not doing anything, playing lots of minutes, cardio
Follow
runs.
him, bro. You're wilding. All right, let's go to number 14. A team that they start off really hot, and I called it out from the beginning of this year. This team is just off to a hot start. It's all smoke. It's not real. The Utah Jazz. You know what? I give them credit because no one even thought this team could even hang. Even though that they're one game above 500, I think everyone expected them to be like 5-20 at this point
Bro,
in the
this
season.
this team is just that one squad, that one YMCA squad that is just getting it done run to run, holding down the King's court. And it's just five dudes that aren't really that great, but everybody's doing it as a collective, and the ball's moving, and it looks like good basketball.
Markkanen's
But to
balling
be
out.
honest, so hey, of course he's balling out. He's having a great season, but I can't lie, it's a lot of collective work. They're doing it all together, and it's not. I can't lie. It's not fun basketball to watch. It's quite boring. They strap up. The pace is kind of slow. Like you see what the pace look like. Pace is 11th in the league, right? They're still waiting on Mike Conley to come back. But to be honest, if I'm the Jazz, I'm telling him to sit on the shelf for a little bit, toss a couple of games, because like you said, it's smoke and mirrors. Let's move on.
Tank for Wemby. All right.
Tank for Wemby for real.
All right. Moving on to number 13. This team is disappointing as fuck. So, I mean, everyone expected the Clippers to be, top 5 team. They're still contenders. Obviously, a lot of the reason their record is like this is because Paul George and Kawhi missed a lot of
Can
games.
these guys play basketball, bro?
Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of pressure, at least from the fans, to Kawhi's got to play more. Like, what do you think?
Bro, like it's not even that he's not playing. It's just there's no clear and concise news as to what we're getting from him. Like we don't know where he's at. We don't know any descriptions of the injury. There's no clarity between his camp the Clippers camp and the fans, right? The fans are sitting there waiting without a clear timetable. He comes back and he comes in and it's the most frustrating thing to deal with. And I can't imagine trying to contend as a team, right? When you have two guys of this caliber in and out of your lineup, right? It's tough to be a contender with part-time players. You saw it happen with the Brooklyn Nets last season with Kyrie coming in and out of the lineup. It really, really exposed them when it came to the playoffs. They got washed in playoffs when they played the Celtics.
True. You got to be more. That's true. It's actually a good point.
Yeah, you need to have consistency, and thank God they have a coach like Ty Lue, who's a great coach and can kind of cover those holes. But tape only works so well. Tape only works so well. If you're both leaking crazy, you guys might sink when it comes to the playoffs, and that's where I'm at with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to the Nets. Speaking of the Nets,
number 12, they're actually playing really well. I think they're on a 9-game winning streak, something like that. I think they're either 8-0 or 9-1, some shit like that. But they're playing well as of late, and even there was one game where like 8 players were sitting out, and they still won.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
outside of that game, I was gonna say one of the biggest changes I noticed is they have the consistency from their two top guys after that. Kyrie had his little debacle, disappeared for a little bit, and then comes back, and now you go from Durant tweeting craziness or going on podcasts talking craziness about his team to you actually getting dubs.
Yeah, bro, he's a sicko, and Kyrie's a superstar, and now that he's back, what do you think of Ben Simmons, bro? This guy is so it looks like he lost his talents.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm done giving him clout. I'm done using his name, bro. I feel like this guy just likes hearing his name so much, and he just does nothing. Even when he's on the court, he's done nothing. I feel like Ben Simmons for this team has been like a fly on the wall. I would like to see him I thought he was going to help them get into transition a little bit more, help them on the defensive end. But to be honest, Nicholas Claxton does a much better job of filling that role player kind of position for Kyrie and KD, which is crazy to say. But again, sometimes you have to be a star in your role in the NBA. They say it all the time. You got to be a star in your role, and that's how the best way to make things work sometimes.
Yes, sir. All right, let's move on to number 11, Golden State. So this is an abnormal start for them. We're used to them being at the top 2-3 of the power rankings, and they're off to a slow start to begin the year. What do you think of Golden State?
Despite the struggles, they've been fun to watch. Fans love an up-paced team, an upbeat team. They're still running and gunning. It's just they haven't been as efficient with it. They have been looking a little bit better as of late. You've had a couple of games where Klay Thompson was able to really come into his own.
Yeah, man.
Really come into his own and turn up. Yeah. We gotta see their young guys if they're gonna actually be contenders again. And the Warriors, they're really good at making those adjustments mid-season, waking up mid-season as a team that's been dominant for so long. They know what buttons to press to wake their guys up. They got a lot of young guys underperforming. Jordan Poole, who just got signed to a big contract, hasn't really been putting up those numbers that he has to, right?
It's true.
Do you think Jordan Poole, he said recently that he feels that teams are guarding him in the second unit the way they guard Steph Curry?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I think
I don't know if that's a legit thing to complain about, because if it's the second unit guys, it's not the same defenders as Steph Curry's seeing in the first unit. You got to make that happen then.
He's not used to that coverage. At the end of the day, his story is he came from the G League, and he kind of made a buzz in such a short span. He's not used to seeing an intense defense like what Curry's used to. You know what I mean? Because he's not that guy who's like that big of a threat. When it came to scouting reports and things of that nature. So, I'm not even concerned about this team because at the end of the day, they cooked Celtics ass. Honestly, they
I was
cooked
gonna
them.
say they figure it out, dude. They
Yeah,
figure it
so
out.
I'm not worried about them. They're gonna figure it out.
These
They're
guys are like the new age Spurs to me. Like, you know how
yeah, for
like
sure.
when the dynasty's just the dynasty and they just keep finding a way to keep pushing through.
Yeah,
Love to
man.
see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we'll move on to a team that's surprisingly still in this race. Number 10,
Blazing
Portland
trails.
Trailblazers. I guess it's not that surprising because their leader Dame Dalla, that guy balls the fuck out. He had
Oh
how many
man.
threes? 11 threes last night?
Bro, I stopped counting, dog. I stopped counting, man. He's
Yo,
not, dude. 11 threes is crazy.
he just he's that cat that like reminds guys like, yo, you guys forgot that I'm that motherfucker, you know?
And he's diming the ball. He's dishing the ball too, bro. Putting up bare assists. Like this team goes and comes with Dame. And I can't lie. This year has been a great season for their big man. Yusuf Nurkic has definitely woken up. Over the last 3 seasons, they've been needed him to take a step up. And I feel like
He's taking it.
he's finally a little bit healthy and he's finally, being the big man, the big aggressive big man that they really needed to have out there, like the big bruiser next to Dame Dalla, kind of protecting him.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Anthony Simons is coming into his own. He's really filling in. Like it really feels like he's like a variation of CJ McCollum. So it's great to
Yeah,
see.
little younger version of the hot gun.
And Jeremy Grant, bro, that guy was a perfect fit. Like that was such a
Honestly,
great
I didn't I
surprise.
didn't think he was gonna do well, but the defensive step up from him was incredible for them. Like it
He
was a
already has
really
like
good match.
I think he already has multiple 40-point games, but
It's,
he's
I'm
playing out of
I'm
his
I'm
mind.
sitting here talking about the defense, and you're talking. I love that. It was a great
He's
match
doing it
for
on
them, bro.
both ends. All right, number
Yeah.
9, Philly 76ers. Embiid is playing out of his mind.
I have to pass the ball to Harden.
Yeah, are you trusting the
Harden's out and
process?
he's back.
Are you trusting the process, bro?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Bro, that duo of Harden and Embiid is unstoppable. But again, I've consistency issues with their health is always a thing, man. Consistency with their health is always a thing, and their backups to that is to James Harden and Shake Milton.
But yo, when they're healthy, they're nice, bro. All they
When they're
really
when
need
they're
is
healthy, they're
Maxey, Harden,
crazy.
and Embiid. When all three of them are healthy, that team is like top 5.
Harden and Embiid will solo teams together, and that's not to mention that you have the firecracker Tyrese Maxey coming in and then going balls to the wall every minute he's in the game. Right? It's such a change of pace. You have Harden, right, who's slowing you down, and then you're done dealing with Harden and his like twitchy pace switches, and then all of a sudden now you have to guard a friggin' sprinter in Tyrese Maxey who's running suicides on you baseline to baseline, end to end of the floor. So it's quite a matchup when they're all healthy. But again, that's a big win. You can see 14 and 12 is just a reflection of Harden missing lots of games and Embiid missing lots of games, Maxey missing lots of games.
Yeah, I think if they're healthy, this team, it's not a bad record. They're still doing this good with all those health issues. So, I think this team will end up being top 5. Number 8. I can't believe this team is number 8. The Sacramento Kings. Darren Fox should definitely be an all-star this year. He's trying to
This
let them know
is
that he's him, and Herder's shooting lights out, and everything is clicking for this team. This is probably the best they've done since 2002.
I was gonna say this is like a better version of the Utah Jazz. This is teamwork make the dream work right here, man. If you scroll back up real quick, you're gonna see right here they've been just as good with De'Aaron Fox off the floor as they have been with him on the floor, and like that to me is just like damn. everybody on the squad is moving the ball together. They're all getting involved. They're all strapping up. And that's kind of the reason why they've been able to be up there, right? Post Tyrese Halliburton robbery there. That's crazy.
Yeah, they definitely got robbed for him. All right, let's move on to number 7.
Booker is him.
Phoenix Suns. They just got pretty healthy. I mean, they're still missing Cam Johnson, but Booker was Himothy for a little bit. And
Booker is him.
And lately they just, they lost a couple games. They used to be first in the West, and now they dropped. I think this is a little harsh. I don't think they're number 7. You think there's 6 teams better than Phoenix right now?
Like, it's yeah, man. I like where they are at 7, to be honest, because they rely a lot on Booker. McCall Bridges didn't take a step forward. He's kind of just
he's nice. He's nice.
He's kind of doing this. He's good. He's very good. I feel like he's kind of running the same season, the same step up he took last season. He didn't take another step up. I kind of feel like he's just kind of plateaued, which is a great place to be for the Suns, which is exactly where they need him to be. But when Chris Paul is taking the decline that he has, I feel like you need a lot of other players by committee to take a further step up, right? And Campaign has done great filling that role, but again, like, it's not the same level of play that Chris Paul was providing for them last season, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Chris Paul has been struggling for them, so for me right there with the Suns, my issue is if Chris Paul is not the same productive point guard he was last season, I don't even know if this team makes it out the first round. And that's my issue, because having, like, as much as Booker is him, he's a great shooting guard. You need that point guard to run the show, right? To run things when things go awry. And not having Chris Paul is tough at his peak. Not having him at his peak is tough.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like, I see what you're saying, especially because we watched them go to the finals. So it doesn't look like the same team, because that team was very dominant in the regular season. And I feel like 16-11 for Phoenix's standards based on the last couple seasons, like, it's not a good start. And you're right. Chris Paul's got to be, he's got to be the X factor. He's got to be the guy that, he's got to be the D-Way to LeBron, and Booker's got to be LeBron.
And a lot of analysts were kind of like ringing the bell of the Suns are going to take a step back after they got washed by Dallas. And I feel like this is kind of like the manifestation of exactly that. They got washed by Dallas in the playoffs last season. They come back this season. They started off strong, and then Chris Paul's kind of fallen back, and that's reflecting on the team's record.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, we'll see. I think this team will end up top 5, but currently they're slipping at number 7. We'll move on to number 6, the Denver Nuggets. And, Nikola Jokic is proving night after night he's still in this MVP conversation. This team has a bunch.
He's tied in second.
Yeah, man. He's
holy, bro.
This team has a lot of resources. Bruce Brown, MPJ, Jamal Murray, Bones Highland. So this team has Aaron Gordon. This team has so much ammo, and they're closing games for the most part.
And they have Porter Jr. on the bench, bro. They have him in the IR. Yeah. They have him on the reserve, still hurting with his back shots or whatever's going on with his back and his ankle. I don't know. It's always something with him. When I heard this guy was out for back shots, that was hilarious.
No,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, this team heavily depends on Nikola Jokic. So I think very similar to Luka Doncic. If the supporting cast is gonna help the star, that's kind of gonna.
I was gonna say I feel like he's in this, like, a similar position as Luka, but with a much better supporting cast.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I feel like Aaron Gordon is a much better version of Dorian Finney-Smith and characters like Jamal Murray's status.
Caldwell Pope, like, there's so many guys, man.
Better version of Dinwiddie. Like, it's just like, literally a better version of what the Dallas Mavericks are right now. And I'm sure Luca's looking over at that and he's like, yo, Cuban, you need to get on that. Like, I need what he's got. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fair. That's fair.
Because even with injuries to Porter Jr., they're still able to get it done because
Yeah.
Jokic is him and the supporting cast is able to just be stars in their roles.
Yes, sir. Moving on
Yeah.
to number 5. Another surprise. This is, this is what I love about this year. There's a lot of teams that you would never rank them in the top 10 and or even in the top 15, and we've mentioned a lot of them, whether it's Sacramento
Big
or Utah.
surprises.
Um,
Yeah.
and now it's Cleveland at number 5. And Donovan Mitchell playing Himothy basketball. Is Donovan Mitchell
Yeah,
him?
bro. Bro, he's up there in the MVP ladder again. Week after week, he stays lingering there because he's running this show. He's poured in the buckets for them. He's their big
Closing the
bucket
games for them.
getter. And they do a lot of hockey assists on this team. They do a lot of hockey assists, kind of like where the Celtics will pass and pass because they have the weapons. They have weapons on their team. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen are nothing to be scoffed at offensively. On top of how big of a monsters they are on the defensive end,
Oh, they
right?
play defense. This team plays good defense.
They strap having
They're
those
number
two
one
guys.
defensive rating
They having those two guys in the
and Karis
middle
LeVert
is
defensively.
yeah, bro. They carry, and you know Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are doing an excellent job. They're doing an excellent job of feeding their big men's, making sure they still eat so that they can stay motivated on the defensive end. You know how important that is.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Darius Garland. Do you think he's an all-star this year?
I think he has to be.
Wow.
I think he has to be this year. It's going to be a tough race, but I think he does make the reserves.
Nice. We'll see what happens. We'll come back to this tape. All right. Number 4, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Wow.
What's funny is outside of John Morant, I feel like this team flies under the radar. It's a small market team, so it won't get a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies have proved in the last couple seasons that they're not an underdog anymore. They're contenders, I guess.
You know what it is with
that's
this team? It's every one of their role players is able to hold the ball in their hand and move it around and make the hockey assist and make the extra pass. And they're willing to like strap down defensively, right? John Morant's missed time. Desmond Bain has missed time. Everybody comes in and they just by committee.
yeah. Jaren Jackson Jr. coming back is huge for them. Um, he had like 8 blocks the other night, and he didn't even play that many minutes.
Yeah, he
So
kind of just like surveys the floor like a defensive assassin.
yeah,
He's just everywhere all the time, dude.
yeah, they got a lot of weapons. Delon Brooks, Desmond Bain. So Tyus
I want to
Jones.
highlight Dylan Brooks as well because Dylan Brooks has had to deal with a lot of fluctuation and differentiations in his role this season. And he's done a great job of adjusting. There's been times when you have the healthy roster where John Morant's in, Bain has been in, playing a majority of the chunk of the minutes, and Bain is only getting 10 minutes to come in
Yeah,
and still strap up, play high energy. There are those games where he's still like that same Dylan Brooks where he's just mad inefficient, just bricking bare shots.
yeah.
But they're also opposite side of the spectrum where he comes in and he's getting those buckets and playing those heavy minutes, filling that role for Bain and John Morant when they're out.
Yeah, I think honestly his biggest value is his defensive presence. He's a
That's
really
it.
good defender. But
It's
honestly, if you're playing
and he tries
fantasy,
hard.
yeah, if you're playing 11 cat fantasy, like he's ranked 167. Like for a guy who averages 30 minutes a game, like he's not efficient.
Not at all.
No. But it works for this team. At the end of the day, this team, the pride of this team is on defense. They don't need him to play too much offense. With Bain and Morant having consistency offensively. But yeah, he could
Plus
continue breaking shots. It doesn't seem to affect them too much.
I was gonna say, plus the role players next to him are extremely efficient and make up for it. John Conchar and those guys, they're 2 for 3, 3 for 4 type of shooters. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's
sir.
perfect matchup next to a 3 for 10 guy.
Yes, sir. All right, number 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. This is your team, bro.
Oh, Giannis.
Yes.
Giannis is him, dude. He's doing his best to carry, but it's tough without Middleton.
Yeah. They were a little bit higher in the power rankings. They lost a couple games recently. So you know
They
what?
stay hovering in the top 3, though. They stay
Yeah.
hovering in the top 3. Giannis gets it done defensively every game.
Yeah.
Their road record has been crap because of their percentages. You're highlighting it there.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the supporting cast on this team is so good. Like Brooke Lopez, I was just thinking about it earlier today. I think this guy gets underlooked for how good he's been his entire career. Like he's been like such a good player. He just flies under the radar. People like the media likes to count him out. A lot of he just doesn't
Not
get
even count him
considered.
out. They don't even mention him.
Exactly, but he's such a he's a huge factor for their success that flies under the radar. And Bobby Portis is playing amazing. He plays his
Talk
role,
about
and
talk
yeah,
about bang for your buck, yo. Look at that
yeah.
contract they got him on. Oh man.
Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen
Hey,
coming back from injury.
Bobby Portis is a top 100 player in fantasy this season, huh? He's putting up numbers. It's not just
Yo,
like
he's
it's not
yo,
just energy stuff. It's not just team basketball stuff. He's out here producing
yeah,
on the
man.
stat sheet.
Yeah,
He's filling it up.
top 70.
Top 70. Oh, that's amazing for Bobby
Bobby
Portis,
Portis
bro.
is at 69.
Yeah, nice. We love that.
Yeah.
Right next to Splash Mountain, Brooke Lopez. Oh, baby, that's perfect.
All right. Before this gets any grosser, let's move on to number 2. The
Holy.
New Orleans Pelicans. All right. This team, I think it's been a fan favorite for everyone. Everyone loves seeing,
Splash
Zion just,
Mountain 69.
know,
Now we're at the rim job team.
yeah, bro. Everyone loves seeing Zion jump out the fucking gym.
Yo,
Being petty at the end of
they're
the game.
they're forcing it inside the paint every play, bro. Zion is a monster.
Yeah, man. Even without Ingram, they're actually getting it done. They're one of the top teams in the league. Do you think this is sustainable, or are they gonna take a dip and be a mid-pack team?
No, I think this is it. I think, and there are a couple of factors that like I take into consideration when I'm trying to figure out if this team's for real or not. Number one, they don't have Jonas Valanciunas playing a lot of minutes. He's been very, very productive in a low minute role, which is amazing for him because it gives them a chance to run Larry Nance, who's been low-key a defensive secret tech for the New
Yo,
Orleans Pelicans.
they
They
got
don't have
some
Herb
militants,
Jones.
bro. Herb Jones and Alvarado too.
Oh, absolutely. They don't have Herb Jones playing in the lineup for a little bit. But Larry Nance has been running, taking those extra like minutes from JV, giving his knees a rest, and just running rampant and just being that utility knife all over the court, doing every little thing that needs to be done outside of the heavy load scoring. He's left that to Zion. He's left the heavy load scoring to JV when he's in the game. He does everything else for that team. And I also want to point out that CJ hasn't been the most efficient either. If you look at their 3-point shooting, it's been pretty poor. So if you have CJ still coming back to a productive level that he was at, and you still have Herb Jones missing, and you still have Brandon Ingram, I only see this team getting better, right? Or at least maintaining the level of play, the elite level of play that they've had up until this point. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it comes down to supporting cast. Like, Zion's gonna be Zion, and between JV and some of the big players that you mentioned, like they just got it. If they do their part, we know what's gonna come out of them. But it's just a supporting role. Even the waiver wires, there's just like players' names I've never even like seen before, and they're on the trending list because like, yo, they're like next man up mentality. Like they're very
Yeah.
they got a like a young spirit, and yeah, this
And they
kind
get a
of
lot of possessions up. They get a lot of possessions up. They hit the
yeah, it's
glass.
an
They hit the
exciting team.
offensive
I
glass.
think
Yeah.
everyone wants to see Zion live to that potential. Like I think it's exciting if he can play like he's very dominant. Like I was having this conversation with someone like, he reminds me of like, back like when LeBron used to like when he was in the paint, he was gonna do whatever he wants. You remember when
I
he was
was
that
just gonna
dominant?
say.
And
I
like
was just
Zion is
gonna
showing
say.
that type of like stride. So, I hope it's not just like a short stint and it's like for the entire season. But number
Yeah.
one, the
Oh, the
Boston
boys in green.
Celtics. Your
The
team.
lean,
This is
mean
your
green
actual
machine.
team.
Yo, Tatum is still 19 years old, bro. This is crazy, dog. Jaylen Brown is 20 and Tatum is 19, and these guys are snapping this way. Oh
Yo,
my
they're
days.
hooping, bro.
They're
21 and
hooping.
6. The top offense in the league. This team has strength in numbers. They're playing with, Derek White, Brogdon, Pritchard. Oh my
They are
God,
they are running.
Smart. Like,
They're I
how
was
many
gonna say
guards do they have?
they've got enough. They've got
Grant
enough
Williams,
guards.
Rob
They do the
Williams.
hockey assist thing every play. Yo, they do this thing with Blake Griffin. I don't know if you noticed this. They like sit him for a few games, right? It's not like how other
Nice.
teams who are playing wash Blake Griffin 13, 15 minutes every game. They are sitting him entire games and then letting him run like 20 to 30 minutes once a week. And
Clippers take notes.
he almost put Zubats through the rim the other night,
Yeah,
right?
he did. That
They're
was crazy.
they're asking him to play prime Blake Griffin once a week, and he's just like, yeah,
He's ready
yeah,
for
I'm
it.
there for it.
Yeah.
Sitting the other 3 games chatting defense,
Yeah, him and
getting
Al
rest
Horford,
up.
they just like they take turns.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, Al Horford's another guy that sits every other game, bro.
Bucks.
This guy's back hurts every other night.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, this is
I got a question for you. I got a
yeah.
question for you. For the Boston Celtics right now, as a duo, who do you have as a better duo right now? Jason
Them and
Tatum.
PG and Kawhi.
I was gonna say they're so comparable. They're so comparable.
I saw PG shout them out and give them flowers, but I right now it's looking like Jaylen Brown and Tatum, but I think we just haven't seen Paul George and Kawhi work. I think that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, Tatum and Brown have gone further together than Kawhi and Paul George have gone. And for me, I'm gonna say Tatum and Brown, but I think like right now it should be Kawhi and PG. It's just we don't have proof of it.
Mm-hmm.
What
All
do you
right,
think?
bro. You're gonna hate me for this. You're gonna hate me for this. This duo right now, Tatum and Brown in their prime right now. I don't know, man. It feels like if LeBron and Wade linked up in 2009 instead of 2012. It feels like
That's
that
interesting
with three.
comparison.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Tatum's got that. Like, I'm gonna get to my spot, do whatever. It looks different than what LeBron does, but the mentality is the same. I'm gonna get what I want and do what I want.
He's
And
a pure scorer. That's the
yeah,
difference.
that is a big difference.
It's like a KD, but he's not LeBron strong, but he's still strong.
Absolutely. And Jaylen Brown is just, man, he's looking like prime Wade right now, dude. He's looking
Yeah.
crazy. He's
I
looking
think
crazy. The similarities are crazy to me, man, between
I
him
think
and
the
Wade.
scariest thing about Jaylen Brown is how good his shot is. Like he could really
He's
like
so athletic.
on top of being very dominant, like getting to the rim, getting foul calls.
Butter.
He he shoots lights out, bro. So I mean,
Unbelievable.
you're speaking about PG and Kawhi. Those guys are both like top tier superstars when it comes to shooting lights out. So the fact that Jaylen Brown and Tatum, we're pretty much saying they're almost better. I think that says a lot about how good Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum really are.
Yeah, that's why they're top of the power rankings, number 1, bro.
Okay, and that's the power rankings. Week 9. Be ready for the MVP ladder. We out.
Yeah, coming at the end of the week. We'll see y'all there.